Yo, 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 people. What's good? What's good? What's good? It's Jason Gooner. We're back in the studio, people. And yeah, match week 32, EPL review show. Been dreading this one since Saturday. Not gonna lie to you, people. But one thing I can tell you is I'm one of those Arsenal fans that have been trying to warn my fellow Gunners about what could potentially happen this time of the season, because if you look at the way we play football nowadays, we're having some issues, people, big time issues. And I don't really see the end of the issues in sight, because nothing about the way we're playing right now give me much confidence. But hey, the match them have to play. So right now, we just hope and pray for the settings, I will see what happen. But people, this is YouTube. This is the YouTube platform. So you don't know the best way to support the channel and support this program is by locating the like button. Locate the like button, hit it, press it. Yeah, do whatever you need to do. If you have more than one device in your yard, pick up every one of them and like the video. Yeah, man. Yeah, man, people. So um yeah, we're gonna have the review show like normal. Week 32, as I said, we're gonna do the score predictions, of course, reveal that towards the end of the show. Game analysis. So we're gonna go through all 10 games and we're gonna do it in chronological order. So we're gonna start with the West Ham Wolves game first and then work our way through the week. Just discussing everything that would have took place, look upon some stats, talk about the decision them in the game, and just overall run down the week, right? And of course, while we're doing all of that, we are going to banter each other. And a lot of the banter is going to be directed at the host and any other Arsenal fan. And we deserve all of it, people. So, hey, when you decide to be someone that's going to cover this content and you are a fan of one of the teams, this is a part of it, people. So, listen, this is not my first rodeo. As a matter of fact, um, I've been around for pretty much every time Arsenal had a lead, with like less than 10 games to play and don't win. Um, so yeah, I've been through these things before and I can kind of see them forwarding, and we could definitely see the writing for this one. But people, as I said, we're gonna go through all the games. West Ham, Wolves, all the way to today's game, which was Man United and Leeds, people. So of course, as I said, it's the YouTube platform. So please like the video, share the content as well. As a matter of fact, people, I am going to do my job. I'm going to do my job, which is to share the content as well, because there's no point me there at the show and no point me there at the show and you guys sharing it for me. I mean, I share it for myself. That makes sense, right? So me, I gotta share the content as well, because some people tell me that at times the notifications not really working. So me, I wonder like, I send them all the time. I wonder why. I wonder why because I wonder why because I don't know, for certain people them does not get the notification. So everybody say whenever I'm doing a show, just send it, because sometimes I'm not getting notification. So just share it. Share it the next place too. But yeah, don't know, people. We'll go through the show and that's what it is. So I'm gonna bless up the people in there. Big up DJ Gigs. Blessings, 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 blessings. The city hunt starts. Boy, I tell you, the memes them I get greater for everybody else and worse for me. Bless up JB, Wagwan, bro. Big up bro G. One bounty. Members only, 2.5 down, 1.5 to go. Bill. Statistically, this was always gonna happen. When I drink some Arsenal tears. That's not, you shouldn't want to drink no Arsenal tears, man. Come on, man. You've gone too far. Would you fire Arteta if he battled the rest of the games and lose the title? Absolutely. JB, I'm at the point where even if we win the title, I'm still considering it just based on like I just don't understand how a team like Arsenal, right? We have our flaws. I don't think our attackers are dynamic enough, right? But other than that, we're pretty good as a team. Like we look around the team, we have a good team. I just don't understand how we can play at a certain level at times, and then when we're not playing at that level, there should be like a standard that we don't go below, and we play below that standard. And that's something that has happened at this point of the season. Basically, the whole time Arteta has been there. As a matter of fact, I'm going to find that picture, you know. I'm gonna find that picture. There was a graphic that was showing like all the results of Arsenal in like April. From like last, I don't know how many years. I'll find it right, you know. I don't know, say it out there. Right there. Yo. Alright, I'm soon find it. Arteta for life. Yeah, madman. Also, Saka looked like he feel off after signing that big contract. Here, Capo a shell of himself too. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Saka looked the same since him doing hamstring the last time. I think that had some lingering effects on him. Don't have that same like, as he wasn't ever like the fastest, but he used to have at least a good like explosion, you know, where he could get from point A to point B pretty quickly. You know, and over a long sprint, him not gonna really run left you. But like that little burst for get off him cross or get off him shot. If you notice, you know, almost everything Saka do most of this season get black, you know. He never quite get the separation from the player them. Something he could have always do before. All right, me could get into the football. I can't just talk about this mad team the whole time. All right, so first game, people, first game of the week. It was a longer weekend for the EPL because the game started on Friday and went through to today. So the first game we're going to talk about is West Ham and Wolves, people. So let me get that on the screen. I know my thing, people. I'll get the stats. So I'll talk about the game. And just basically discuss it, you know. So this was a big result for Wolves when you look on it, you know, where they are in the table right now. Points at a premium this time of the season, especially for a club like West Ham down there in the relegation scrap. But yeah, they ended up winning this game 4-0. And you know, for long stretches in the start of the game, it was Wolves, I thought, looking the more likely. But you know, something clicked on for West Ham, and really it was once they got the goal, you know, after a decent little spell to end the first half from Mavropanos. Well, the first goal of his in the game because he ended up with a brace. But yeah, once they got that goal, you know, they really kind of started to stamp the class. Then halftime, I thought for them came a little soon. And when Wolves came out in the second half, it was kind of more like most of the first half was Wolves kind of playing the better football. But once West Ham was able to find that first Castellanos goal, and a little before the goal as well, you know, they started to play a little better. But those two plays by Castellanos, transition type goals, you know, Jared Bowen involved in everything as usual. And Pablo a nice assist to him to make it 3-0. But, you know, I think Wolves just didn't really have that cutting edge. And the difference really was when you look at the strikers, you know, Adam Armstrong, you know, didn't turn up enough in the game because Wolves did get a few chances, a few half chances. Castellanos took advantage of his. and Armstrong wasn't able to do the same on his end. And yeah, 4-0 to West Ham, big result for them. Nuno Espirito Santo can feel good knowing that he got the 3 points at home. And of course, when you're playing the team that is basically relegated at this point, in Wolves, this is one of those games. If you're a West Ham fan, a West Ham player, the coach, you're saying, listen, man, if we're going to stay up this season, we have to get 3 points against Wolves at home. And Wolves coming into this game was not playing the worst. A lot of the points they've accumulated have come, recently. They had 2 wins on the bounce, prior to this. So there you have it. A drawn game. So they were 3 games unbeaten coming into this game. And that don't sound like much, but for a team like Wolves this season, 3 games unbeaten coming like the greatest run of all time. But this was a big win for West Ham, and I remember, I was kind of thinking to myself, which of the teams down there, are gonna go down, because you have Tottenham, you have West Ham, you have Leeds, you have Forest, and I was figuring out of one of those 4 teams, they'll be going down to the Championship, and for some reason, I just thought West Ham have a good chance to stay up, because I think, I don't know, just something about the way they're playing right now. They definitely Nuno has sorted out the defensive troubles. I think West Ham, prior to Nuno kind of getting in there and being in there for a little while, they're one of the weakest defensive teams I can remember. Every time we play West Ham, I feel like we just bag them up with a bunch of goals. And a lot of times when I watch West Ham play, if they lose the game, they usually concede more than a few goals. But he has changed that lately, and it's big, it's big, it's big. Yo, Rob, Bill. I know I definitely won't be in the donkey pasture tonight. How Dexter can't make this squad. He can't be any worse on the right hand side. Well, JB, let's see. Let's be honest and real about this now. So them have Jackson Chachua. He probably would have played here if he was playing, right? So Jackson Chachua, 24 years of age, from Cameroon. Yeah, he's a full international for Cameroon. 14 appearances. Just brought in for 12.5 mil. So he's probably the number 1 right wing back option. And then Rodrigo Gomez is another one that would be a option there. 22 from Portugal. Not really a right back per se, but I see him play on this side of the system if they have a back 3. 15 mil a couple years ago. All right, so that's a couple of players. And I think this guy's a left back. Yeah, left back. So he could play left back too. I think this is another wing back to him. 19. Yeah, man, right back. So I mean, them just have them stockpile that position. A bare people. And Hugo Bueno is a left back, wing back type of player. So I mean, yeah, is Dexter better than those people? I don't know. I don't know, brother. It's rough. See the man them have like 3 right back in it, 1 start. Rodrigo Gomez can play there, and Pedro Lima can play there. So them have 3 options in them first team right now to play that position. So, but I mean, he's the under 21 starter, so I guess he would be next. Wolves definitely going down. Half their squad gonna leave because of salary, so I think Dexter can make right back in this squad. Yeah, when they go down to championship. Speaking of that though, when Dexter something there, Sorry, people, I'm going off on a tangent, but I'm just curious when Dexter Lembikisa contract is up. I play every game. PL2. This is the year, man. Man, contract expired this year, bro. Jaja. Currently value at 1.2. So it's make it or break it this summer. You know? Rough. But here are the stats for the game. So you see West Ham dominating the expected goals and the big chances, right? But Wolves did have a lot of shots. But again, nothing clear cut that they could create. You have to give West Ham credit defensively. They were solid. I think Desassi and Mavropanos forming an unlikely but an effective pairing around the back. Both teams did hit the woodwork one time. And a lot of the game, in the middle third, both teams kind of had the ball in the opponent's thirds around the same time, relatively. Pretty close. And then you have the entries, 53 for West Ham, 40 for Wolves. So a lot of the game played in midfield. And you see the passes in the final third. Long pass. You see the difference in the way the teams played on the day. Nuno is not with the long talking. You see the long passes, but look at how effective they are. Almost 50% coming off. So that is targeted long passes. And then 31% on only 26. So Wolves were definitely more willing to play the ball through the lines, advance on the ground. And Wolves did have two big errors that led to goals. So didn't help themselves either. Mosquera had a nightmare. I mean, I like that player, man. Man do a lot of foolishness when they play Arsenal. I don't even want to repeat some of the things when do on the field. But yeah, the defense did struggle. But on the other side, Mavropanos had a day to remember. First ever brace in the Premier League, I'm sure. Bowen had 2 assists here, but 3. I think he had 3 fantasy assists. Anybody who had Bowen in them team smiled. And Castellanos have him in some draft leagues. So that was helpful. But yeah, West Ham 4-0, spanked them. Big win for them, We'll see once we check the table where that land them in the table. All right, so the next one is going to be Arsenal and Bournemouth. So, yeah, man, this game ended 2-1 to Bournemouth. No need to talk about it anymore, right? So let's just move on. How am I doing in general? General. Right, and I'm good because luckily I have family and, take my mind off of gunners and them madness. But no, I joke me around, man. I'm going to break down the game the full and proper way. So, 2-1 to Bournemouth. This was not the result that we wanted, but I have to give a big respect to float management, because float call this result. The only person, even though all I know I chat about Arsenal, I go battle it and them no good. Everybody say Arsenal was going to win the game except for float management, and he had 2-1. And one other person went for a draw, but they were wrong too. So yeah, big up float. You got this one correct. And this one ended 2-1. And to be honest, like the team, even though some of these stats I'm sure are going to say that Arsenal was kind of more in the game than how it might have looked in the game itself. Watching that game, it really did look like it was only going to be one winner because one of the two teams understood how to play football. And I can't put it any other way than that. Like if you look at the two teams, one team looked like them leading the Premier League and one team didn't. If you took the names off the back of the jersey, you just put some man where you never know how them look and you just watch the two team them play. One team look like them they in a 8th or 7th or whatever, and one would look like them in first, and it would not be the one that's actually in first that people would have think was in first. Ain't no way. I don't understand for the life of me how a team where I see Bayern a press way this season. I see at times in those fixtures with Chelsea pressing us. I see Liverpool even press us. And we're able to pass out the ball and get the ball forward decent enough to create something on the other side of the field. And that was earlier in the season, mostly. As the season has gone further and further and further, and again, it comes back to the manager right now, because I honestly believe that because he wants so much control over the team and how they play, we have been figured out. Teams are just figuring out what we do, and they're able to just stop what we want to do. And I think that Arteta thinks if he just nails home or drives home, the way he wants them to play, they'll be able to beat even the opponents that know what we're trying to do inside out. And I don't think that makes much sense. I think you have to figure out some tweaks to change it up, because it's not working. It's not working at all, and everybody can see that it's not working. So you need to figure out something, boss. You need to figure out something. I think the lack of an ability to make the other team respect how you can build out the football. That's one glaring thing to me. Like, when a team is pressing you, right? If you want to not go long every single time, at some point you have to challenge the press with your passing and your movement and your ability to manipulate the space enough for them to, the next time they press you, take a second thought before they just go at you. They start to drop off a little. Before you know it, you're comfortable on the ball, building out the ball, because you have broken their press so many times that they have to adjust. They can't just go at you. And for long stretches in that game, I'm talking 10 minutes at a time, Arsenal, the ball would just be stuck between Raya, Saliba, and Gabriel. And it's like it can't progress. Zubi gets the ball, it's right back to Raya. And then by the time we get it forward, it's a long ball. I mean, at times, some of you who go and watch this video, watch Jamaica as well. At times, Arsenal literally was looking like Jamaica, because when Ben White would get the ball, it was looking like Latibo there or King getting the ball over there and sending it long towards Kadamachi. And then when you look up and the defender wins the first ball, our players are a good 20 yards away from Gyökeres. There's no one close to him. And then there's like 3 Bournemouth midfielders there to collect the second ball. And I'm thinking, how is this possible? How can we not pass the ball to any of our midfield players? When we go long, they're not close enough to Gyökeres, but yet still, the only players I see for the knockdown are 3 Bournemouth midfielders, and our players are trailing them. So that just comes down to energy, because they're pressing up on you, the ball goes long, and none of you can win that foot race to win that second ball. As a matter of fact, you're not even close to them. And that happened, I don't know, between 5 and 10 times in a game. And I'm like, this can't be Arsenal I'm watching. Can't be Arsenal I'm watching. I can't believe this. I mean, it's that bad right now, people. It's that bad. The football does not looking good. And what is annoying is there were plays and times and little spells in the game where it didn't look like that. I mean, yes, they were small and they weren't for very long or prolonged, but that's what upset me even more. You see them do a play, and yeah, the final action don't quite come off, but at least we had the ball here, we played it into midfield, we switched the play, and something happened. And I'm like, why can't we replicate that more? Why isn't that happening more often? I mentioned last year that City deserved the title more than Arsenal because they beat the current champions, Liverpool. Yeah, you did mention that. You did mention that because we draw and lose to them. So we haven't beaten the champions this season. I would drew with City. So it's like if we end up winning the league still, we'll lose. We wouldn't have beaten City or Liverpool this season, which is kind of sad still, to be honest. I mean, I would much rather win the trophy than care about a stat like that, but still, it's like, damn. Yeah, because the gap, they have a game in hand and the gap is 6 points right now. So, yeah, it's a wrap. We're going to lose 3 points, then win the Burnley extra game. That's it. We'll lock up right this up. So, this week is crucial. I mean, this is the biggest week of Arteta's life right here. So, kind of feel away now. We have that game to play, and City can just sit down and rest and get massage work done all week. And we have to go run out against Sporting and give everything. Because you know Sporting smell blood, you know. Because them, I think them don't know we lose to Bournemouth and we have City come up next. Yo, them are going to use, yo, this week could be horrible. That may I tell you. Anyway, these were the stats for the game. Arsenal edged the possession 52-48. See, we had the more expected goals. There you go. Arteta would probably sing on that now and say, yo, you see it? You see it? You see it? So yeah, we had 5 big chances, 2 big chances, but I think 3 of those big chances were from set pieces. I know one was from a corner, Havertz for sure. That had to be a big chance registered. Obviously, the penalty we converted. And then I'm trying to remember, I think there was another corner that was dangerous that would have been considered a big chance, probably. I think 2 open play big chance. But anyway, 15 shots to 8. Ryan only made 1 save on the day. We needed 3 out of him. 2 saves for, I think, Petrovic in the goal for them. We had 10 corners, so that wasn't working out for us in this game, even though a couple of big chances came from corners. So on another day, we might have gotten a goal from the set piece. 3 cards to 1. Shots on target even at three apiece, though. You see that? We missed 4 big chances on the day. So, going for the title, the narrative is we don't have no attack. And we had the big set piece chance them, like we've been getting. But, the pressure is different. It's April. It's ain't November. This ain't October. So them chances that we're getting knocked in from set pieces, no problem. Now all of a sudden it hit your shoulder. It just grazing the bar and going over now when before it was nestling in the goal. And these things can't just be coincidence, people. It have to be, it's a at this point, it's a trend with the team. So something happens when that pressure turn up. They had more entries than us by 3 of them, 50-47. So a lot of entries there. You see the pass in the final third, going long. Both teams went around the same amount. Arsenal more a higher percentage and way more crosses for Arsenal. And the connection rate wasn't too bad either. You see the dribbles, duels, they dominated us in the air. But yeah, the big chances miss. That's the big problem there. Big problem. And the players, you see the big, I mean, nobody really besides Declan Rice, really did excellent in the day or played really well. Gyökeres had a goal, still only managed about a 6.6. And Mosquera, in hindsight, Ben White, I think more than likely Ben White played this game because I think he probably wants to play Mosquera in the next one. But man, I don't know, man. With Ben White's form, I don't know if I would have started him this day, honestly. Because he looked so bad. He looked bad in the Carabao Cup final, I thought. He looked bad in the FA Cup game. I don't think he played that well in the Champions League first leg game either. So yeah, I mean, he just hasn't been good. He hasn't been good. Havertz was like a ghost. I mean, apart from that chance in the first half that he got, I don't remember him doing anything to really affect the game. He had another big chance. What was the other big chance? See if I can find it because I'm not remembering the other big chance. So this was the first one, 20 minutes. Yeah, should have done way better. Yeah. Another one right inside the goal almost. But don't forget that one, the corner. So yeah, his two chances were the set piece ones. Yeah, those are the ones I remember. I never remember it was Havertz though. Yeah, so I mean nobody really lighting it up. Rice got the armband, which I thought was interesting because in this running time, you give him the armband now when people have been screaming to just give him the armband from when before the season even start. And I don't know, for whatever reason, he didn't have it. Odegaard had it, and it's like, what? But a big statistic going around, right? 74 touches, and Declan lost the ball 17 times. Now, for a central midfielder, I know Declan go forward sometimes, so maybe I'm attempting a two pass here and there. But 17 times is a lot of times. Then your safer one, your number 6, that's really just a tempo setter, doesn't push forward with the football so much. Look at his accuracy, 76%. So between your two central midfielders in a game, one at 86, which is not terrible, but the 17 possession loss, him at 76, right? And another 12. So between them, 29 times, you pivot right there, losing possession. That's a huge letdown, breakdown. I mean, these guys supposed to be at this level, 85, 90%, easy, easy, easy. And again, I can forgive Rice for being at 86 because he does push forward from his position. If you look at the heat map, he's getting a lot of touches in this area, which you're probably going to be trying to pass where there's a lot of congestion so I get that. But when you look at Zubimendi, who plays a lot more conservatively in terms of his positioning on the field, these areas are supposed to be 100%, man. All these passes should be fine in a target at this level. So yeah, I think he had a poor one. And he's probably saved by putting in some defensive work still in the game. Yeah, did make a few, but you see, struggling physically, 3-time dribble pass. And that's a lot of the players right now. Martinelli, after a wicked cameo in the Champions League, looking like dog crap. Havertz, nothing. Raya, big performance, man of the match. Next game, ordinary. Mistakes with the foot, making the crowd uneasy. Saliba was average, not good enough. Gabriel tried, but even he, was looking a bit away in the passing, in the possession. So it just was, I mean, like I said, only the captain can hold him head up, honestly. I mean, Gyökeres scored a penalty, yes, so you have to him get some credit because, in that moment, it was almost set up for him to miss and the crowd to lose it even more because it was very tense once they scored the first goal. But Mosquera came on, did well. I think this was the first time Max Dorman looked like a human being, just never really affect the game like he always had been before. I thought Eze's cameo was probably the only thing that I could look at the game and say, okay, that's a positive. He didn't look to be needing time to get back up to speed. Yeah, he didn't affect the game like you would want him to, but I think at least I didn't see him having any physical problems. He still had the burst of time, run down a couple ball, get to it, keep possession, go into a few tackles and go through them fine, get fouled. So that's a good look because I think we were going to struggle if only Havertz would have been available in this position for now because we know Odegaard is out still and it's not looking like he's going to be back. Um, Definitely not for the Champions League. And I know he's hopeful that they can get him and Timber back for City, but we don't know how realistic that really is. But one thing I do want to ask, like anybody that watched this game, when he made that triple substitution on 54 minutes, right? At the time, it's 1-0, it's 1-1, right? And while we have to win the game, we know that, we want the 3 points. Did that feel a bit panicked to anyone? Like, to be fair, two of the three players I thought were doing nothing, right? In terms of Havertz and Martinelli. But Madueke is somebody that really pissed people off, me included, just with some of his decisions and how he play at times. But I think in the first half, he was really struggling. And I thought in the second half, he looked a lot like he almost looked like he was just fed up of not doing, his things not coming off. And he started out the second half much better. And I just felt maybe in that moment he had this thing in his head where if we don't get the goal in 10 minutes, I'm going to take off all three of the players right there behind Gyökeres. But I wished he had kind of just held off a little because not on Madueke at least. And I know looking back, this is easy for me to say because I was saying Max might maybe could have started this game, right? So I wasn't really cussing the fact that Max was coming on, but I just feel like in that moment, Madueke was looking like he might cook down the right side. It was looking that way at least. And it doesn't never work out for Max on the day, so it looked even worse. But I just thought that triple sub so early in the second half, it just felt a bit panicked because I don't know. I think the team did start out a bit lackluster in the second half, right? But I wouldn't put that down so much to those three players he took off. I just think, Zubimendi was really bad. At the time, physically he was struggling for whatever reason. And, he probably would have been one of the ones I would have took off if I was going to make that drastic of a change at that time. But yeah, he went with the three coming out and they just did not really, they didn't change the game. They never really got going. When you look at Eze, took a little while to get going. I thought Eze didn't really start to get going until closer to the end of the game. I thought Trossard was involved. He was getting on the ball a lot, but just nothing really happening for him. And then Max was just on the periphery. And when he got it, he never really got going either. He never saw the usual gliding run at any point. He just never got going in that game. So it was a tough one. It was a tough one, man. Trust me. Even me who has been very cautious about how I talk about Arsenal lately, I wasn't expecting this one to be a banana skin, to be honest. I thought at worst we would draw the game. And I predicted a win, of course. But yeah, I mean, I underestimated the how the pressure gets to this team and this manager. And it was clear. It was clear on the day that just the weight of everything that's going on, the fact that they've had a bit of a wobble of late, dropping out of the FA Cup, losing the Carabao Cup final in the end convincingly. Really, Kai Havertz and Martinelli, brilliant set of play, brilliant play away from drawing the first leg in Lisbon, which, I mean, wouldn't be the end of the world, but it would just add to the issues that we are going through with the results right now. So yeah, I mean, this was a real awakening, I think, for some Arsenal fans, because some people were saying that they think I'm not having enough faith, and how can I be talking like this about Arsenal if it's my team? And I mean, it's look, at the end of the day, I still, no matter who is my team, I see the game with my eyes, and my eyes aren't going to lie to me. If I'm not seeing Arsenal play the way I know they can play, then I would have to say that I don't have enough confidence to say that we're going to definitively win this title this year. When you factor in that Man City pretty much all season, I think it's why some Arsenal fans kind of looked at it and said, well, even though we're starting to have a wobble, Man City is not the Man City of old. They're not going to be able to reel off the wins and this and that. And I was saying, well, I mean, you guys say that because I haven't really done it yet this year, but um, are you not watching how they're playing now compared to earlier in the year? I mean, it's a lot different how they're able to do things right now compared to earlier. At one point this season, if Haaland wasn't scoring, they couldn't win. I think they won what, 3-0, and I don't think Haaland had a goal. So, you know, it's just one of them things where they're coming for us, people. They're coming for us, and we hear the footsteps, and we're playing like we hear the footsteps, you know, because even situations that we've been scoring all season, corners, point blank headers, those are going in. Last few weeks, they aren't anymore, so only difference I see is pressure. But yeah, I just felt like that triple substitute was a bit panicked. You know what I mean? It was a bit panicked. Big up Eros, the boss. Big up yourself, my G. What you dealing? Hit the likes and subscribe. Yeah, man. Let them know. You'll also drop point at West Ham and Palace. Arsenal don't travel well. Well, Winston, it look like we don't travel well to the Emirates right now either. Oh yeah, huge, huge. The pressure too big for the team. Yeah, that was one that really pissed me off. That's one thing about Yoker is that I had liked so far. Like every time I heard him talk in a post match or whatever, I always like when him talk. But this was the first time now, bro, where the man said something. My man said, "Jano, the pitch was too dry, huh?" The other team had a wet side of the field to play on. Havertz is bang average, yeah. He's always has been. Always has been. He has good technique, man, but good technique is one thing. You have to be able to run around and use the technique at the same time. And it's just like sometimes he just don't sort out his feet fast enough. Wednesday is not crucial. Win or lose tomorrow, you will definitely lose at City. Robbie need to walk around the stadium 7 times on Sunday for you to stand a chance. Pressure Wednesday just as bad, if not worse, against City Sunday. I'm telling you, you don't understand, bro. Like, we don't need to go into that next game saying, "Oh, we're out of this, we're out of that. All that's left now is the prep." No, like even though I think you're any Arsenal fan worried about winning Champions League right now, even though we're in the quarterfinals is a madman. I'm just saying you still don't want to drop out of the competition, especially not. No offense, but not the Sporting. When you have Real Madrid, Bayern, Barca, Atletico, all these other teams still in the competition, and you're gonna say, "Oh, you dropped out of the competition. Oh, you lost to PSG, huh?" No. You lost to Liverpool, huh? No. You lost to Real Madrid, huh? No. You lost to Bayern, huh? No. So who the hell did you lose to? Oh, Sporting Club de Portugal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we don't need them. We don't need that energy. We don't need that energy. We don't need that energy. I agree. Eras, I agree with you 1,000. I think Wednesday crucial, crucial, crucial. Like, yeah, it is, bro. But look, we're gonna have a full preview of the weekend's fixtures, but we're definitely all you Gunners fans that tune into this whether now or later. I will be doing a live watch along on Wednesday for the second leg. So we'll have that going simultaneous with what's the other game playing that day? It must be Real Madrid and Bayern, I think. Yeah, the second leg of that one. So should be a nice one. We'll do a watch along. Obviously, as the gunner, I'll be watching that mainly, but I'll have my other device so I can see what I go on for both of them. But tomorrow, Liverpool, PSG, Atletico Barca. Who you got? Who you got? I got PSG, even though Anfield, I think, is going to have some magic moments. I don't think they'll be able to sustain it over the 90. So I'm going PSG to keep the 2-0 advantage, maybe draw the game or something like that, 2-all, 1-all. Yeah, something like that. Or PSG, either draw or PSG win in the second leg. And then the second leg, Atletico Barca. Ooh. What is it? 2-0? Damn. That's tough. I think Barca will score a lot of goals tomorrow, honestly. I just feel like they're not going to be able to hold them out. I know it's El Cholo, and El Cholo have the tactics to just mess the game up and just make it ugly. And I just think Barca won't be denied in the chance creation department, and I think they're going to be a little more clinical too. So I just don't know if their defense will hold out Atletico enough to win by more than 2. That's why I'm leaning towards that game just going extra time. But boy, that's tough to call, man. I want to say Atletico, but I just know Barca not gonna give up without a fight. A big fight too. Liverpool is slot pick the correct team. Really? So what's your correct team for tomorrow? Yeah, man. One Barca. Conrad, I think the interim head coach for Jamaica did an interview today. I think a lot of the mans them watching the various reactions to that, you know. But then we take in the content when them finish with that. But yeah, Conrad will see this on the live chat replay, and probably laugh when him see it. Bless up, Duke. Go on. There, you know. I wish you probably want to laugh after me. You still will laugh anyway. It don't really matter if Man U lose. And nobody wasn't expecting Man U to do nothing. So this you can still laugh. But the good thing is, Duke, I've talked about Arsenal's game. It's over. The hardest part of the show is done. Let's move on to another part of the show, and that is Everton versus Brentford. This one ended 2-all. I thought this was one of the more entertaining games for the weekend. Igor Thiago got a penalty early, converted it, then Beto got the equalizer. Typical Beto goal, like a cross, good movement, flick on from close range. Then Igor Thiago continued his tear through the league. I don't know. It must be a Brentford striker thing. Like they're just getting these 20 goal a season scorers. Once you play for Brentford, they get 20. So Thiago got that. And then Dewsbury Hall at the death, 90+1, was able to score and let Everton leave with 1 point. That really was a gut punch to Brentford because, Brentford, Everton, they're in that little area where, that fifth slot being Champions League opens it up a bit more for them to at least get to Europe. They're right there hovering around the 6, 7 slot, and with a wicked end to the season, who knows, they could maybe, slide in for that fifth spot somewhere. So that is really what these two teams were after. So a point in the grand scheme of things probably don't do much, but and you just would rather that than to lose the game. But the stats look like this on the day, and like I said, it was a very good and entertaining game, I thought. But it was 55% to 45 for Brentford. You see the big chances there, 6 total, but 4 went Brentford way, 2 went to Everton. I see they did have the XG lead as well. So they'll probably be kicking themselves more as the home team with a few more big chances as well. That they weren't able to keep that 3 points in the bag. You see the pass is pretty close on the day. 2 yellows to the away team, Everton. Everton had 3 more shots on target while Brentford hit the woodwork twice. But they just weren't clinical enough. 3 big chances missed. Everton scoring one of their 2 big chances. Well, I'm gonna say something. But yeah, Brentford just couldn't see it over the line, you know. It was just the walls were caving in on them after they got that goal. It was a bit fortuitous, Igor Thiago's second goal, but that last goal really just came down to tired legs around the back, you know, just tired defending, pushing a foot. Nobody can really clear it. And then, you know, when the ball fall to Dewsbury Hall left foot, you know, his problems, you know, because he has a really good left foot. But these are the stats for the day. You see the shots on target, as I was saying before, the big chances missed, a big stat for Brentford on the day. Brentford with their direct style, you see the difference. So it's always good to see the differences in the styles. David Moyes always tagged as a defensive coach, this and that. I think his West Ham time towards the end, he started to have had a bit of a transformation in his tactics and how his teams played. And definitely since he's been at Everton again this go around, we have seen a much different type of style, I think. Where at times they do play some really nice football, you know, combinations and progressing the ball through the thirds. You know, they do play more like that than I think people probably give them credit for because David Moyes is the coach. But you know, people can evolve, you know, and I think he has. Final third entries were more to the home team, 70 to 54. And yeah, that was it. But good game, you know, 2 errors led to shots for Brentford, 1 error led to a goal. I think it's kind of harsh to call that second one an error, but you know, it was a shot on target that just was cleared directly, not cleared, but blocked directly into the path of Dewsbury Hall. And I think that's what they are counting as an error that led to a goal. But boy, that's rough. That's a rough one. And Tyreek George had one of the greatest chops I think I've ever seen. Okay, I have to show you guys this if I can find it. So we can't see like so it have to be people. Actually, you know what? I think the website, I think the club they put it out, you know. Let's see. Oh, yeah, see there. Yeah, man, them did him dirty. Yo, anybody that saw this chop, let me know. It just starting for you. Oh gosh. Fast forward then. share this. Yo, look on this. Pana chapter. Brother, I don't know how the man kept playing. Watch out, man. Jeez. Jeez. Yo, the man is injured. Watch out. Woo. Yo, man get a nasty one, people. I'm saying nasty, you know. Look how the man have limp. Yo, that was the maddest trap for the week. Mama Frimpang, Konate VVD Rabo, Grav Slobo, Verts, Rio Ekitike Sala. Alright, man, say if you start a team they can't lose. So Bench Maka was laughing when Mans tried to skip Arsenal game, which in brain was telling him to do. Yeah, bro. Yeah, man. I'm gonna see the score again. I'm gonna say, yo, you know what, we can talk about this next time, you know. Let's move on. Never want to talk about it, bro. Big up CK. What go on, my general? There, you know. Why City have to be so good this time of the year, man? Them can't just build. Mad scientists get serious pan me. Man, them a play like vintage City all of a sudden. Vintage City, man. I'm sure the poll go. The people them really think that the Arsenal game was the best. I'm too lie, man. Alright, let me go back to proceedings. So Igor Thiago, wanna say World Cup? World Cup for Igor Thiago, no? I mean, how could you not take him at this point? Man been so consistent. Alright, the next fixture, this was at the same time, and it's the other team more than likely relegated this season, and this didn't help the cause. But Brighton and Burnley, Brighton got a brace from Matt Vifa, so another unlikely brace, one from West Ham with Mavropanos, the other one was Matt Vifa, who does get forward a bit in this system. If you notice how my boy the team play, Andrew Crafts. Why was Andrew Crafts there? They got rid of the coach? Or him have a ban or what? What's the deal? Need sick. Anyway, them left and right back have license to get forward. So not really super shocking V for Kadioglu. Either one of them could have get a brace. Because they do end up in a lot of attacks. But Brighton won this one 2-0, as you can see. But that doesn't tell the entire story of the game. I thought Burnley had some good spells. They did create a big chance. Wasn't that many big chances on the day. Just one for each team. You see the shots, you see the saves. Passing really close. 50-50 in possession. 6 shots on target to Brighton, 5 to Burnley. Both missed their big chance. Brighton had 4 more final third entries, 55-51. Long pass, crosses, dribbles, and defending. Another error. Burnley in defense. This man just didn't he just what the heck? Five appearances. Yeah, nah, see back Dutch team right now, boy. So yeah, Brighton doing it to them, you know. Welbeck had a quiet day for once. A lot of injuries for Burnley. This youth on loan? No, buy him. Oh yeah, he spent the year on loan to get them up and then buy him. But yeah, Brighton got the job done 2-0. That will do their aspirations of a place in one of the, even if it's one of the smaller competitions in Europe, that did it a lot of justice or a lot of benefit, I should say, to get them there. Now, Liverpool won this game 2-0 at Anfield. A nice lead into the PSG game. If they could win that game 2-0, go to extra time, I'm sure the fans would take that. But I think keeping out a team like PSG going to prove a lot harder. You know, two big chances were conceded by Fulham. So, you know, you'd probably multiply that by at least two. You know, Mamadash really going to have to make some saves if Liverpool can get through that second leg, I'm sure. He made 4 saves today. I need to make a few more than that the next time they play on this pitch. 5 shots on target to 4. See the through pass. All the big chances on the day were missed by both teams. Not the best finishing at all, 45 to 44. So the entries were very close on the day. You see the duels, Fulham dominated there. And long passes, Liverpool with a high percentage, but even higher by the opposition. And you see the difference in the crosses. A lot more crosses put in by Fulham. Tackles 1, recoveries, goal kick. So Rio and Salah got the goals. Maybe that's why Winston want to start them against PSG. But this was, those two players ended up with the highest ratings on the day. 8.7 for the youngster, scoring a cracker of a goal for his first Premier League goal, I think, at Anfield. And it was a beauty after some step overs cutting in and the perfect curl on it to get it in the side netting far post. And then Salah scoring a vintage goal himself. Curler from the other side with the left foot into the bottom corner. So 2 very good goals. And like I said, Winston said, listen, man, just start them again. Obviously, he wants to put Ekitike back, leave Verts there. And I think he said Grav and Soboslai in the midfield. And pretty much the same back line that you see here. So we'll see if Arne Slot is listening to Winston or not. He got another run out, a little more time than before, but was not effective. But that should be good for the goalkeeper confidence because he was looking a little bit shaky in some of the games so far since him take over. But this should build him confidence because I thought he had a solid game in this game. But he's going to need to be on point tomorrow for sure. So yeah, Liverpool got the job done, 2-0. They need to win as well, secure that 5th spot, make sure that they get back into the Champions League. Of course, they're still in it, so they could always just win it to stay in it. But I think tomorrow will go a long way to let us know if that is even going to happen at all. We're moving to Sunday's fixtures now, Crystal Palace, Newcastle, and this was a brilliant one because Newcastle pretty much thought that they had the game won. Well into late in the game, Mateta came on, just back from injury recently, had a big day, in Europe, scoring a brace, then comes back into the Premier League and gets one as well, but this time off the bench. And those two goals made a difference because they won this one 2-1 over Newcastle. Osola getting the start up front and scoring. And then just wasn't enough for Newcastle after that. And by the time Mateta came on, first a goal set up by Mitchell, and then he converted the penalty to make it 2-1. So a very good result by Crystal Palace, a team that really and truly at this stage of the season probably just playing for how far they can go in the European competition they're in. I believe Palace is in the Conference League. So they had a good result in the first leg of their last encounter, and they're looking forward to the second leg this week. But with all of that, making some changes from that team to this team as well, resting players who, played a lot of minutes, especially in the attacking areas. And, other key players getting a rest from the start, like Adam Wharton. They were still able to use some of those players off of their bench and get the win against Newcastle. And Newcastle's up and down season in the Premier League especially has continued. And yeah, it's been a big problem for them, I think, of late. This guy right here, Bruno G, trust me, if this little spell don't prove how important him is, I think they've been struggling without him big time. Shirky did go mad. Big up, coach. What go on? So you think V Company could do a better job at Arsenal winning the EPL title? Absolutely. Absolutely. Mentality alone. Because Arteta talk a good game, but I mean, he's not imposing like that. Bless up, Float. They are big up, because you predict the Bournemouth 2-1, And probably did say something like you're trolling or you're hating right now, but you actually get it right and everybody else get it wrong. So I'm gonna give you credit. You call a dirty 2-1 never get. But yeah, Newcastle, man, up and down, up and down. A lot of people always say when they forward to English coaches, Eddie Howe for up there, but boy, man, really I struggle this season, brother. Now we know Bruno G out, yes. But when I have some player could have do something, man, and then not play well enough. I mean the whole game and two big chances in a create. It's not enough. XG just over 1, give up over 2.5. So yeah, not play well enough Newcastle. Not at all. But yeah, like I said, Palace, even playing in Europe still, they still get the job done on the Sunday morning. So big win for Palace. Now we have Forest and Villa. Already Forest would have known West Ham won. So they're looking like, listen, can't let these guys, have to keep the pace. Well, they were only able to manage a 1-1 scoreline. First goal was an own goal by Murillo. And the second goal, or the equalizing goal, I should say, was from Nico Williams. Unlucky. Oh, what a crowd did I do a while ago? Yep, so the 1-hour game, Murillo unlucky on the own goal, but then Nico Williams scored a nice shot from the top of the box. And this one ended 1-1. You know, both of these teams as well um having games in Europe in midweek. So wait, is Forest still in the competition? They should be. Yeah, man. Them play Porto in the first game and draw. Yeah, so they both actually had games on their Thursday, and they both came into this one. And like I was showing, Villa is a team that really hadn't changed much in Europe in terms of their lineup. Looks like this day he tried to do some rotating. Lindelof, Pau Torres, Matty Cash pretty much play all the time, so he's there. Rogers and Watkins, the same thing. Barkley. So yeah, he kind of went with the same team. So he's just playing the same damn people. Him no business. Forrest did make some changes. Endoy, Dominguez, Chris. These guys were playing in Europe from the start. He kind of flipped that. I think Gibbs White the only one that plays in both. Um, and of course the midfielders as well, Elliot Anderson and Sangare. That's his go-to. So they would be playing as well. But it's going to be interesting, second leg for both of these teams. I think Villa have the much better situation right now. They won 3-1 away from home, so they go back home with that advantage. Paris will have to travel now to Portugal after getting the 1-1. So interesting stuff here to see how they progress in that Europa League. Then we have Sunderland and Tottenham, people. Sunderland and Tottenham. And this was day one for Roberto De Zerbi, and it didn't turn out the way he would have wanted, a 1-0 victory. And, almost so fitting for the season so far. The type of goal they conceded, a shot from outside the box that takes a big deflection off of Mickey van de Ven and leaves the keeper with no chance. But Sunderland, if there was going to be a winner in the game, I thought probably deserved to be them just a bit more. Tottenham just didn't quite do enough in the game for me. Even though, like, I think they were the better team to start the game out, I thought once Sunderland kind of got their footing in the game, they kind of controlled it for the most part. They had more big chances, they had the better expected goals. But Tottenham did get a lot of shots on target, but the goalkeeper, Roofs, did excellent on the day. Not too long been back from injury, and he was back like he had been there the whole time. 13 shots to 11. You see 7 on target though for Spurs to only 2 on target for Sunderland. So Sunderland wasn't exactly carving open Tottenham either. Final third entry 63 to 39. So Sunderland definitely getting into the opponent's area way more. You see the passes in the final third is a demonstration of that. The long passes were pretty close, 50 and 46 attempts. And yeah, Roofs definitely deserved the man of the match because he prevented almost 2 goals by himself. But yeah, Spurs, man. Question is, are they really, really, really gonna go down and get relegated? That's crazy if that really happened, Right now, after that game, they're in the relegation zone with this loss. 1-0 loss. Brabby just could not finish on the day. He was a threat though. Every time I see this brother play, he's a threat. So I hope the Dutch do the right thing, because I think him is not the greatest striker in the world, but just feel like he'll help any team with how he put himself about. Mukiele has been having a good season, got rewarded with a goal in this game, and Roos was excellent. And of course, Xhaka back in the midfield, so that control gonna go up right away for your team. But yeah, I think Colomwani was poor, and somehow he lasted the whole game on that right hand side. Romero had to leave the game after hearing that he's out for the season with a knee injury today. So, he looked like he was crying when he was coming off the pitch, and I'm sure people would be wondering why. But I think it's because he probably knew that his injury was not the best. And who knows, maybe it's so bad that the World Cup might be too soon for him. I hope not for his sake, but maybe that's why the emotion was what it was. But we never know. We're not gonna know for now, but we know that him out for the season. That was put up by the club. So yeah, not the best for him to come into a situation deserve that is and lose probably him best defender in the first game to injury. So yeah, it's getting more and more bleak for Tottenham. Already a long injury list, as you can see there. And this is the form that he comes into, 3 losses, a draw, and a loss. So yeah, they're now in 18th position, people, and we're 6 games from the end, and it's kind of crazy. Or five, wait, how many? 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Yeah, so 6 games from the end, and these guys have 30 points. Played more games than points they have. That's crazy. That's crazy, people. Tottenham. We're saying a spirit. Yeah, man. Float, get him, man. I tell you. Yeah, but he must the only brave soul, I know a lot of you were thinking, boy, Arsenal might lose a game if real, But I never say it like him. As I'm have to give him props. But Sunderland, 1-0. Tottenham, boy, I tell you. As a Gunners fan, that's the only thing sweet me about this weekend, I swear. But yeah, this was men against boys, 3-0 to City at the bridge. Goals in the 51st, 57th, and 68th minutes. Nico O'Reilly can't stop score. Mark Gahey from a set piece, and Doku after just a terrible giveaway right in front of them box. But yeah, this was, as I said, men against boys for the most part. I think other than, a spell in maybe the first 25, 20 minutes where it was kind of more even, both teams kind of getting some decent enough openings to create something. All that changed pretty much, I'd say around the 35th minute or so. At that time, it does seem like Bernardo Silva cloned himself and just started to get on the ball everywhere. And once they got that control and started to get into their passing game, that's when them really start to hurt it, because they have this very, very good way of just making the game feel so calm. And then when they inject that incision and that quick pass and that quick move, it's almost like you're not ready for it in a way. And that to me is the genius of what Pep does with his styles. It can feel at times like some of the passing is just so meaningless. Like it's almost like they're not even interested in going forward. But I think they do that on purpose to, lull the defense into that, incorrect state, which is like to relax and just say, oh, they're just keeping possession. We can kind of just keep our shape and this and that. But yeah, I think they're just setting you up, because when they switch it on from that tempo, and they just, add a bit more speed and pace on the passes and a little more intense movement around that pass, in that sequence, it's very, very hard to cope, because they just haven't been doing that the whole time. They really pick the spots well when they turn on that pace. And Chelsea just couldn't cope. I mean, like I said, the first 30 minutes or so, I thought 25 minutes or so, I thought Chelsea, looked like they could potentially do something in the game. I think the big issue for them was just one City kind of got the hang of what Chelsea was trying to do, and started to make it more and more difficult for them to keep possession. Once it became apparent that they couldn't comfortably play through their pressure, that's when it was really the end. Because in the early part of the game, they were able to play through that pressure a few times, and it looked like it was going to make City just kind of say, okay, maybe we shouldn't do this, but they stuck with it, and eventually they kind of figured it out. And you started to see Chelsea get more and more stuck in that middle to defensive third. They couldn't quite move the ball forward. It just seemed like City was blocking everywhere. And once they got control of the football, got control of the possession, then they could play the game on their terms. It really, they kept Chelsea at arm's length the whole time. And then those two goals in quick succession, I thought really was the body punch. And then once that giveaway happened and Doku ran in and scored, that was really the end of it. So a real professional performance from City, I thought. I mean, while it was 0-0 at halftime, it still felt like it just felt like at any time City was gonna find at least a goal, and the more the game went on, it looked less and less likely that Chelsea would score anything in the game. They just never had that cutting edge up front. João Pedro was real quiet. Tried, probably did the best out of all of them up there. But Neto and Palmer just didn't have that effect that we know they can have at times. And Estevao was, really bad. Honestly, it was probably the worst game I've seen him play. Just didn't really cause any trouble at all. I thought a couple of times O'Reilly really used his strength on him and just got the better of him. But the big concern, I think, if you're a City fan, is O'Reilly did have to come off injured, and he has been one of Pep's favorites. When a midfielder drop out, O'Reilly going there. O'Reilly is starting left back otherwise, but other guys get subbed out, they leave the fit pitch. Nick O'Reilly very rarely this season has come off. Like, he play a lot of the full games. So it's a bit of a worry, I would think, if you're a City fan, because he is that player that, it seemed like in these title run-ins, City always have a random person that score a bag of goal or a few goals, important ones. And it does seem like O'Reilly was that person right now. But, more than likely, with a whole week to kind of, get back right, he'll probably definitely be available, unless he's like on crutches or something right now. So I wouldn't get my hopes up so much that him not going to play in that game. Sink us in the Carabao Cup. But yeah, Ryan Shirky, a tall man's man since the Olympics, bro. Since the Olympics, when Thierry was coaching them, France, said this guy is the best. This brother is the best. I'm going to see City get him for whatever them get him for. Born Macy, man. But the youth, yeah, still only 22. Jeez. This guy's a baller, man. 36.5 million euros. What a bargain. This man gonna get bought for about 100 if they ever sell him. The man might pull a next Silva and just stay for 8 years. But yeah, he's different. He like to drift out to the right side. But that works in the system right now, because remember Semenyo playing out here. But Semenyo ends up in here typically. So what I mean about Pep, like, the man have the pieces then set up in a way where you can't really pin them down to one area. I think that's the only player that really does that played this game is Doku. He's gonna predominantly stay in that left side. But Shirky, Semenyo, look at Semenyo's heat map. All on the left side, the man I get ball. Anyway, so Pep has the right balance of this is my structure and go and express yourself type of philosophy. I think him find a very good balance with that, because you can see that them organized and them have structure, but he also doesn't limit the players from doing, things that they see fit to do, especially once you get into the attacking third. I think he's pretty rigid, not rigid, but he has a set way he wants them to position themselves in the defensive and middle third. I think in the attacking, and that's something that I've seen him evolve to, because if you remember, when Henry said he went to Barcelona, the thing that he couldn't stand, he didn't mind playing off the left, but he wanted him high and wide, even in the build-up. And Henry's like, you're literally wasting me over there. I can drop in the pocket and get the ball and spray some true pass as well. I say, yeah, but that don't work for Xavi and Iniesta. So I don't need you to do that. Just stay high and wide. That the ball will come to you, and when it does, do your damage. But Pep at one point was doing that same thing at City. Think about it. Sterling was a high and wide guy. Leroy Sané, Mahrez, all these guys, Savio. But the evolution has become, and we saw it from earlier in the season. I had mentioned when Doku was playing off the left, I saw him getting a lot of balls in the inside channels, like inside left, even like some center attacking midfield areas, and would just pick up the ball in. And I'm saying that's different. That's something I've never seen from Pep before. Usually, them two wide players there in his system, high and wide, high and wide, high and wide. Now, as it has evolved, he went and found like probably the best wing slash inside forward type of player in the league, both feet, Semenyo, and literally created a system now where Semenyo, when we get to certain areas and see certain things, go and join Erling. Find space in the box because you're too good in the box to have you wide all the time. Cherky, you love to drift out to the right. The trigger, when you see Semenyo go join, I want you to get into that wide channel and create. So, I'm telling you, the man evolve, something where my coach cannot do. And good shout. I see Demo just pop up in the comment section. The Kusanov is so underrated, he's improved drastically. That's a great shout. I mean, honestly, this guy, Diaz, I think he's out with a hamstring. But they are, I was thinking, maybe that's the last little thing we needed to get over the line. Diaz out, so can't see the Diaz-Gay partnership. Brother, it's almost better for them because Kusanov have a closing speed there. So that problem where that's a boy can get by City, because then push so many bodies forward and you can get by the back too. When it's Gehi and Diaz, maybe, yes. But this brother Kusanov will run it down, brother. Easy, easy, easy. And the thing that really impressed me about him is how much his passing range has improved. Or maybe he's just confident enough now to pass them. But all his long passes on this day were on point. On point. Yeah, he missed two, but I mean 75% on your long passes, that's great. That's great, 83 touches, 5 possession loss. I think that's the other part. Like, I didn't know he was so technically proficient, but I mean, obviously, if Pep bought him, he must have been. But early on, he looked like a liability on the ball. And that just goes to show sometimes he does not quite ready maturity-wise. And of course, you remember when he came, it was like an injury crisis. So, if he had come at another time, maybe he doesn't go through that as his first experience, because clearly with him, he just needed to just be coached a little more and get a little more comfortable. But this guy is really good, man. Some was saying that City didn't fix the defense issues at the black line a few months ago, but now they look like a different team since last window. Yeah, but look, I always feared the worst in the January window when Semenyo and Gehi came. I was like, bro, how is it that they can always, like, whatever they need, it just seems like they find the best people. Like Shirky, I'm telling you, when he was signed by them, I was so upset. Red Skull not here because I'm probably vexed too. But I remember Red Skull asking me, like, which player out of all the players out there would you want? And I said, Ryan Shirky. Ryan Shirky. That's the player I would want. And this was like, this would have been like last January or something. Or after the January window, but before the summer window would have opened. And like right after that, big news. Shirky to Man City for this. Like, damn. But I was saying that from before the season because when I saw him at that Olympics, bro, for France, the team that Henry was coaching, I was like, this dude is different. And that team had Elise, Shirky, all these guys, and I was picking Shirky as the best. Now, Elise, arguably up there just the same. But I think they're different players at the same time. I think he could play both of them at the same time. I don't think Shirky have to play wide per se. I think Elise is way better when he play wide. Yeah, man, the man recovery speed is top. Yeah, and it's not even that you weren't playing good, but like I mean, yeah, that didn't help. But I think just he himself, like even I've seen him play games when the team wasn't on that bad of a form, and he just looked out of place, like he don't quite look like him 15, and that you don't see that right now. He's just his confidence level is way higher. Um, I think the more that the players around him train with him too, you can kind of see their appreciation for him more. Like he'll make a defensive action and you just see how excited everybody is and everything. It's almost like they're saying, yo, finally you're showing the people what you show us all the time in training type of thing, you know? And him just have that confidence now. Him just have that confidence now. But yeah, that's a good point though, because you're gonna play better if your team playing better. That's I don't think that's a crazy thing to think would happen. That's true. You're gonna look better when your team functioning better most of the time. Kovacic is back as well. That slipped under the radar right there. Got some minutes off the bench. Foden can't get game again. Neither Savinho. Rough. Them two brothers that up on Arsenal, them start every week right now. But Chelsea, not good enough. Not good enough, Chelsea. Caicedo had a big mix up. Caused the goal for score. The third one. But yeah, not good enough for Chelsea. Liam Rosinia lost at the bridge again. All right, so that was the last match Sunday. So we have one game leave, people, the Man United versus Leeds game. And this game was actually very entertaining, I must say. The first half, it was okay. It was very one-sided. Leeds should have definitely been up by more, but the second half I thought was really, really good. Just intriguing in the sense that 2-0 down, Manu come out on fire in the second half, but can't get a goal. And then right after that spell, it shouldn't be too controversial. A pull of Calvert-Lewin's here by Martinez, and I think once it goes to VAR and you look at it, I mean, how can you really interpret that any other way than just a serious foul play? You shouldn't be doing that, So yeah, he was sent off, and then crazy enough, we've seen United do this. Well, not necessarily this year, but we know United is good for things like this. The 10 men, but somehow still pull out some kind of result, and they were very close to doing so. Once Fernandez sent in the ball to Casemiro, who headed in at the back post. They had 20 minutes plus stoppage to try to, flip the game on its head, at least get a draw out of it. And they, did well to end the game off, but just could not quite find that equalizing goal. Some good goalkeeping, some very good defending in moments. But yeah, Leeds definitely good value for the win when you look at the statistics. And I thought Manchester United almost, I wouldn't say they deserved the point, but because of that spell when they were down to 10 being so impressive for me, I mean, I'm talking about non-stop pressure with 10 men for like a good 20 minutes, 15 minutes at least. And, that's just impressive to me because I see my team with 11. Yeah, look at that, you know. So, yeah, I have to give them credit for that. Now, Leeds is a team where give up a lot of chances regardless. And they proved that again today. Even with an advantage, they still were giving up a bunch of shots on target and chances and everything. Now, big chances, they did a better job of holding those down because only one registered for Man United in the game. They were able to create four. They were outshot by 5, were Leeds, but the shots on target only 3, 9-6 in favor of Manu. That one red card did hurt Manu, but to be honest, in the run of play, it kind of helped them because they played better after that, I thought. That's the big problem there for Leeds. 4 big chances missed. They weren't able to convert any of the big chances that they were able to create. Final third entries, Leeds had 6 more, 59-53. You see the long passes a little bit less by Manchester United, and the pass in the final third both had 136 attempted. Man U with a slightly better percentage on those, and Man U did control the duels as well in the game. So goalkeeping was an issue on the day. For Leeds, I wouldn't say Lamins was terrible because he had some good saves in there as well, but Darlow was just a little bit better. And Noah Okafor, two alert finishes. One got a big deflection, that second one, but yeah, brace for him, and that's all they needed. Calvert-Lewin put himself about, but didn't quite have that clinical final touch. 3 big chances he did miss by himself. And I think Brendan was the other one. Was it Brendan? No. Oh, I think I know who. Who missed that chance? Oh, probably Tanaka then. Yeah. He had a really good game though. But that really was Lissandro running back. And that's what saved him. I mean, this man got a red card and still got a 7 because he had the clearance off the line. That's always going to give you a big boost by a score. But Casemiro turning back the years as usual. Brilliant header. With the 10 men, he was really the driving force in the midfield. So yeah, man, Casemiro. I wonder if them can convince him for forward one more season because he's probably playing the best he's ever played for Man U this year. If we're being honest. Manners, big up yourself, Jagans. Yeah, man. Big up, big up, big up. 2 device. We love it, we love it, we love it. Bless up yourself. Liquor man who almost take out fewer Leon Bailey ribs. What kind of madness he was trying to pull off though? Yeah. I mean, I think his reputation precede him as well. So even if them try interpret and say, boy, him just was trying to pull something and not pull that. I think because of some of his history and some of the plays he would have made in the past, I don't think anybody going to give him that benefit. So yeah, it was the right call. It was the right call. I don't think many Man U fans, even Duckland probably say, yeah, man, a red card that, but maybe not still. But I'm interested to hear what him think about it. But Leeds did get the result, man. Big win for them. In their eyes, this is a big, big derby. I don't think the Man U fans quite feel the same, but um, yeah, I know they don't like each other at all. So that rounds out the fixtures for this week. Before we take a look at the Premier League table, what we want to do now is reveal the score prediction table. Big up yourself, Jay. Hope you're ready up for tomorrow. I won't be at home, so if you're doing a live, yeah, man. Good luck to you guys tomorrow, man. I think you're gonna need it. What are they? What am I doing with my life? Okay, here we go. So we need to get this. So we're just grabbing the files, people, so we can show you how it go for this week. All right, so we have the table. So let me and week 32 table looks like this. My good friend JB in the lead, getting a trophy this week. Joseph Brown, big up the legend in the comment section. He was the one with the trophy, 8-2 with 1 correct score. I think JB, let me see which page. JB got the 2-0 Brighton Burnley game, and for some reason everybody got that right. Grizzle, Pristine, JB, Duckland, Jagans, Chaddy. Who that? And one other person. I can't even see what I'm writing. So yeah, it's like 6 or 7 people had this 2-0 Brighton, Burnley. So we should have put some money on it for real. And then 4 people were tied. Grizzle second, 6-4 with 3 correct games. So Grizzle, good job picking the corrections there. You had the 2-0 as well. You did, Grizzle, with Brighton and Burnley. You had the 1-1 with Forest and Villa, and you had the 1-0 Sunderland over Tottenham. So good work there to get the tiebreaker for second place. And then there were 4 tied at 6-4 with 1 correct score. So a lot of us had good records this week. I think a lot of people also went 5-5. There were only a few in the entire group this week that did get a below 500 record, and only one of them was bad enough to secure the donkey of the week. So let me get the reveal of the donkey of the week ready. 32 is Duckland Stennett. So Duckland has had a great run in the past few weeks, winning the title a few weeks or so. I'd say maybe 2 out of 3 or something like that. But he's back into I was about to say winner's circle, but it's something else. He's back into the pasture, and he was 3-7 this week, but he did get 2 correct scores, but that didn't save him from being the lowest ranked this week. But he did do the Brighton Burnley 2-0 and the Liverpool Fulham 2-0. So, had some redemption there, but I'm sure Duckland will be ready for week 33 to bounce back. Like I said, he's been having a good run, people. So we can't kill him, We can't kill him. But this week, the biggest hee-haw goes to my good friend Duckland for his performance in the predictions. But yeah, big up again to JB, bossing blanks in the comment section, as he should, because he took home the trophy. And he's had some rough ones this year. So yeah, man, it feels good when you can come out at the right side of things. So Jay, another one that's saying Rio and Salah should start. Winston was saying the same thing earlier in the show, Jay. So Jordan. So yeah, man, it's looks like most of the Liverpool fans saying, listen, Slat, man, nobody else but them two there upon the wing. Arsenal and Man U let me down, right? Would have been a clean sweep. Yeah, that's true. The 2 misses you had were Arsenal and Manchester United, 2 teams that just let down them whole fan base. Arsenal worse than Man U for sure, because as I say, expectations are different there. All right, let's take a look at the Premier League table now, people, because it's getting sticky on both ends, right? So let me get this going, share screen. All right, people, we're into the home stretch of the show as well. We're going to look at the table real quick. We're going to take a prips at the FPL for the week as well, because man's definitely limping to the finish line, people. Limping. Very similar to Arsenal. I've relinquished my lead in every damn league, all right? So only difference, Arsenal still have the lead, but lead, but that could change. So the big fight is these 5 teams right here. Really 4 of these 6 teams, I should say. Burnley and Wolves, pretty much academic at this point. They are gonna be down. Look, they Burnley mathematically, obviously still in it. They have 6 more games still left to play, so there's 18 points to play for. Just like their track record, the teams are gonna have to play. I don't see them able to win 6 in a row. So Burnley and Wolves, I mean, obviously not relegated yet, but I would say those 2 are out of there. So it's gonna be a 4-team race from where I see it. I think Leeds, even with that win, I can't count them out of the race to be relegated just yet, because that can change in a heartbeat. But I will say, of these 4 teams, the obvious choice to go down right now would have to be Spurs. They're the most they're the biggest question mark of the 4, because De Zerbi just took over. So you have your manager bounce, you have all these things, but when a team is in such a rut, I don't even know if the manager bounce can exist for them either. But we'll wait and see, because they only had 1 game. It's not like they were, just killed at Sunderland either. It was 1-0, a big deflection goal. So let's see. Let's see. Another few days or another week, I should say, of training. Maybe we'll see a different Spurs against Brighton. You never know. I wouldn't bet on it, but you never know. West Ham, big win. I mean, they were in the relegation zone before the week started, and they're out of it now. They would have played their game Friday, got to watch all the Premier League, see that Leeds did get 3 points. They would have been 1 point behind them before that win today. Forest was equal with them at the time, but they got a point against Villa, so a big point. That could prove to be a huge point at the end of the season. You never know. But Spurs, uphill climb for them. I mean, when you look at the fixtures coming up, Leeds and Forest, got a decent draw. Wolves and Forest as their, Wolves and Burnley as their opponents. West Ham playing a much better team in Palace. The hope for West Ham would be, okay, Palace is about to exert themselves in Europe again for a second straight week before they have to play us next weekend. But we saw Palace come in for the same situation and turn the game around against Newcastle. So I don't think they should look too strongly at that. And then Brighton, had a big win in the last game. And it doesn't matter who Spurs play, they're playing better than them right now. So yeah, it's gonna be difficult, and it's gonna be interesting these next few weeks to watch and see, how close it really comes down to these four teams. I hate to say it, but of the four teams, based on what I see and how they're playing, Spurs is the favorite to go down for me. The only thing with West Ham is like they do have these spells in games still where it looks bad. But I think they also have spells now what they weren't having before, where they're actually creating chances and getting forward and, looking excited. They weren't doing that very much earlier in the season. So right now, sorry, Spurs fans, you guys look like the favorites to go down. But let's see. Newcastle 14th and Crystal Palace, different situations. Palace got 3 points this week. Newcastle still stuck on 42. I remember there was a time maybe, I don't know, 5, 6, maybe 7 game weeks ago where Newcastle was looking like they were poised to make a run for the big places in Europe, much less the Europe and the conference and all these things. And to be honest, at 42 points, with sixth place being at 48, 42 points is still not out of it. Sixth place this season is Europa League. So, let's see how that goes. I mean, we also know that, I guess that wouldn't affect anything. I was going to say, we know Villa has a good chance maybe to win the Europa. So they will go to Champions League. But right now they're in Champions League places, so it don't really make a difference. Chelsea. Okay, so Newcastle, Crystal Palace, Fulham, 12, 44 points. They had a loss though this week. Could have really gotten them. Imagine them on 47 right now to be sitting pretty. Bournemouth up to 45 points. So they will also think, hey, we're 7 points off Liverpool. We're 3 points off of Chelsea for 6. So they're right back in it with a shout after that win. They were on a draw streak, but they got that W, and you see the difference it makes when you can get 3 instead of 1. Sunderland on 46 points. They're still not out of it by any stretch. Brighton, 3 wins on the bounce, and they're right back in it in 9th on 46 points. Chelsea, stagnant, 3 losses on the bounce, and that's brought everybody back into play. And Liverpool was having a wobble too, but that win did give them some separation from 6 now, 4 points clear of Chelsea. But Brentford, Everton, Brighton, Sunderland, Bournemouth, Fulham, even Palace and Newcastle outside shot still at Europe. And for some of them, with some good results going against Liverpool coming weeks, you never know. Some of these teams could even challenge Liverpool for that 5th spot. And we have Aston Villa, I think a little more removed, but they are now equal on points with Man United, 55 points apiece. Man U has the better difference at 12. And that's a crazy flip, because I know when Amorim was there, it was like almost negative or 0. So that they've really improved that. Man City now chopped that goal difference down as well. So just 3 behind Arsenal as far as goal difference is concerned. With that game in hand, and we know that the next game in the Premier League for both of those teams is against each other at the Etihad, people. So, look, it's getting to that point, man. Squeaky bum time, you know what I'm saying? Let's just look at the statistics. Haven't looked at this for a while. Goals for the season: Haaland 22, Igor Thiago now up there for the golden boot, people, 21. Semenyo up to 15 now. 14 for João Pedro. Didn't realize he had so many, João Pedro. Danny Welbeck, 12. Gyökeres up to 12 as well. Good for him. It was looking for the longest like he was just going to score, not enough goals for what we thought he would score with 6 games left. Looking like 15 is a realistic target for Gyökeres. Not a bad first season. When you look at first seasons of strikers not named Haaland in this league, typically if you get more than 10, that's a good sign of things that can forward later. Ekitike, who was all the rage all season, look at that. Gyökeres got one more goal on him now, out of nowhere. Junior Krupi with a big season, 10 goals for such a youngster and Bournemouth. That's a big feat. And Mateta been up and down, up and down, up and down, still gets the double digits as well as Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So that's the goals. Let's see what else we got here. How about assists? So Bruno with 17 backside. I think he's gonna get that record, Ryan Cherky 10, Jared Bowen 8, Haaland with 7. So that's decent output for Haaland in terms of assists. They know James Garner 6, Harry Wilson 6, Salah 6, Grealish 6, Xhaka 5, and El Hadji Malik Diouf of West Ham with 5 as well. Let's see. How about clean sheets? That should be David Raya. Yep, 15. I don't want every player. Just give me the keepers. Donnarumma with 12. Pickford 11. Henderson 10. Robin Roof, Sunderland. Petrovic, Sanchez. Verbruggen, Kelleher, and Allison. Interesting. All right, so we got who played the most minutes. Van Dijk play every game, every minute. So the man play every minute of every game. Pickford, Raya, Milenkovic, Petrovic, Verbruggen. So mainly goalkeepers, but Virgil as an outfield player, Milenkovic. Those are the only 2 outfield players who play every minute. Wow. Big up Van Dijk and Milenkovic. But yeah, that's about it there, people. While we are here, let's go ahead and take a look at the Fantasy Premier League. Make sure to like up the video, people. We have just a few more minutes left on the show, and then we're gonna run out. As I say, content this week to look out for. Definitely Wednesday. We're gonna do a watch along for the Champions League games, I should say. Arsenal hosting Sporting, and of course Real Madrid going to Bayern, looking to turn one around, down 2-1. That should be an interesting second leg. But as far as the FPL went this week, you see here 63 points. What I was able to come up with this week, this was how I got the points. So we're above the average, so that's always a good thing. Nowhere close to the highest for the week, but that's okay. So we had Gehi, so he got 15. I think he was the highest scorer in that City game. I gave the armband to Bruno Fernandes. How I wish Gehi or Thiago had it. And to be honest, people, I have to tell the truth. I started Timber. So I'm just thankful that he never played. And Gehi was my first sub at least. So I almost messed that up too. Krupi, I benched in every league I had him. I have him in 2 draft leagues, I benched him. Have him here, I benched him. And he scored a goal against Arsenal. So, sometimes when you have a team, it's really bad, because you'll do too much. Like, why do I have these 2 players? Well, at home to Bournemouth, I thought it would be fine. Rice had a big day against them away from home. So I was hoping. And he did supply 2 big cross that on another day we score. So yeah, he could have had some assists. I think he got some defensive, or he just got a bonus for playing well. And he got contribution. No, he got an assist. Oh yeah, because he took the shot that got blocked. Yeah. So yeah, my defenders luckily did a lot of work for me. Bruno, got to double his 4, which is not the best. Thiago got 13. So yeah, it was an okay week. I think I really thought it was gonna be a bigger week after the first day. But yeah, just couldn't get enough out of some players. And Krupi kind of wasted away there on the bench. Didn't get anything out of Semenyo or Haaland in a 3-0. What are the chances of that happening? But it is what it is. So this is the first league here, King of Jamaica. I was on top for this for a while. Good thing is I had a bigger gap to this guy a couple weeks back. So I'm kind of chipping away, even though they got a 2-point gap on me this week. Reason Boss right there in third, but I have a nice size advantage over him in third place. Then this is the iSports Fearless 1961. Stefan Kabul is up there, just killing people right now. I was even at the top 5 or so of this league for a while as well, but had the big fall off. I think just haven't been consistent enough with some big enough scores to stay up in a league as competitive as this. But top 50 out of a couple of hundreds, that's not terrible. Then we have my league. The good thing is I did make a slight comeback on Demo this week at 56 points and I got 63, so we're thankful for that. So it's just 18 points, which in fantasy is nothing. So we feel good that we can at least put up a fight, right? Moss Sports World, I got a 4-point gain here. Not quite enough. Moss finally showing up in his own league, up to third in his league. So big up yourself, Moss. And then we have Sports DTM League, where it's only a 10-point gap, but that gap was stretched by Stephen Walker, who got it a little bit more of a lead on me this go around. But this was his team for the week. Verbruggen and Van Heck, good shout there. So he really went bright and heavy this week with his wild card, which proved to work out for him. 21 points from the Brighton players. Didn't really get much elsewhere, but sorry, Nico O'Reilly. Didn't see him up there. So yeah, because I'm like, how did he get 69 with these players? But yeah, there's a big dirty 14 up there that I didn't see. So yeah, firmly in second for most of these. So it's just about making a run to try to get there to first place. I have some nice things lined up. I think I have a wild card and my free hit. And I know there's some funny little weeks going on. Man City will have a double game week this go around, where their players will get 2 games, Burnley the same. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting one. I think Leeds and Bournemouth as well. Yeah, Leeds and Bournemouth will have 2 games in this window or this match week, because the match week will stretch out to Wednesday. Chelsea as well with a double game week. So quite a few teams. If you play your cards right, you can really get some serious work in, as far as different options for your team. And I have the wild card and I have the free hit, because rest assured, if it's a double game week now, there will be a blank one coming up, and that will be game week 34. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So a full 6 teams won't be in action in game week 34, and those 6 teams will all have double game weeks this go around. So I think this is the last week of anything like that going on. I think any other time where there would be a conflict, there's not that happening. So the 24th should be the day of reckoning, and based on how Arsenal is doing right now, yeah, it's not working out. Now, as far as the draft leagues go, hold on there. I have to log in. All right, let's see. All right, so I picked up a big fat L in this game. I think I played Moss this week. Let's see, league fixtures. No, league results. Yep, 38-46 people. And the reason why I lost this game, look at Mark Gahey. So I started O'Reilly, benched Gay, and literally I lost this game by 8 points. So Moss, I just gave you a win, kept you in striking distance. You can thank me for that. Because you and Jonathan running away with the league. Miss Melina was doing her thing at first. Looks like she's still right there, not too far off. And I was having a terrible go of it for a while, but I've been climbing my way back to, 500 win-loss record, but still a little bit under. But luckily I'm not down here in the last places. But yeah, this is definitely my weakest showing this season so far. And my overall points is not terrible, 14, 19, but still not good enough. This is the other league I'm in. Right now, I'm in third position, but I have a pretty sizable gap. But at least I made up some ground this week. Had a good week. Have O'Reilly in this league again. I had Verbruggen and Van Heck. I thought they would do well against Burnley. They did. Dewsbury Hall came through with the late goal. Rogers got an assist for the own goal. Evan Nielsen was benched because I thought Saka might play. But Evan Nielsen came on to give me the 5. I benched Trufair. Really would have been better to have him over Hall, but hindsight is 2020. Tati came through with some points with 11. And Calvert-Lewin missed some easy chance today, but couldn't get on the score sheet. But good showing just the same in that league. And then my other league I'm in, which is kind of me and my family, Crystal Ball FC. I'm in third position with a 50. And Jano Star 77. Whoa. Well, at least I caught up ground on second place, because I think the top two get our money. So we just want to get the second at least. That don't sound good as an Arsenal fan, but yeah, I don't know. I don't think Alex can collapse because his team kind of have some players who are perform right now. But Tati and Yokeres gave me something. Virgil did well. Van Heck again here. Picked up Dauman thinking he would have, be the game changer, but he had his worst game yet. So that didn't work out. I only have Gakpo and I kept him because I figured the coach would rotate those attacking areas and rest Ekitike and others, which he did. And luckily Gakpo came through with an assist. And rather, as I said before, I got an assist. So 50 points. Wish I had one of them City defenders on this team, but I have 8 Nori who might actually be a good person to have if O'Reilly's injury is anything of serious note. I don't think it will be, though. I think he'll be fine, but we'll have to wait and see either way. But people, that is it, We went through the games, we went through the scores, we went through the score predictions, which, just as a reminder, people, we had the table champion this week was Joseph B. Big up to Grizzly in second, and then the 4 tied with 6 and 4. I was one of them, as well as Float Management, Jagarns, and Pristine. Yep, we were all tied. One of those 4 tied with 6 and 4 and 1 correct score. And then sad to say, Donkey of the Week this week, the channel good friend Duckland, 3 and 7 with 2 correct scores, but yeah, still wasn't good enough to not be in the pasture this week. Yeah, man. So big up to each and every one of you around the channel and the chat. Again, kind of timeline for this week. I haven't really put out anything yet as far as thumbnails or anything, but I do know coming up this week, expect a reasoning time from me during the week where I've been staying away. People haven't talked about the Reggae Boys at all. I think I'm ready now to kind of have a wrap-up show of the campaign, talk about, from my perspective, how I thought things ended up, things that we could have maybe done differently during the process. And also, I caught up with the big man himself today, and expect me and Pops to hold that reasoning together about that whole campaign. So you want to make sure that you don't miss that one. It's always legendary when me and Pops hold the reasoning. So we're gonna do that this Wednesday. That will probably take place. Well, I shouldn't say Wednesday. It will either be Wednesday or Thursday. One of those 2 days. I'm going to firm up which day makes more sense. I know that Wednesday afternoon I'm going to be doing some streaming with the Arsenal Champions League game. So just depending on how the timing work out that Wednesday. It could be Wednesday, it could be Thursday, but I'll try to make the thumbnails and everything by tomorrow so that people can kind of check for them and see them. You know, if you're subscribed to me, sometimes you're scrolling on your homepage and you might see even upcoming things. So I'll go ahead and put it out there so that people can start to see it. And you don't know, when you hit the like button before the show, it even helps it once it goes out with the notifications and everything. So you guys do me that solid. Once you see content upcoming for me, just hit that like button. And also, if you're a member, you're a subscriber, you're a viewer regularly to the channel, I don't know why you wouldn't subscribe. But yeah, it's better if you turn on the bell notification so that when I go live, if I don't have the chance to share it or whatever the case is, you guys can, know that we're live. Because sometimes people just let me know and say, yo, I never even knew you did a show last night. I'm just watching it today or whatever the case is. So yeah, man, just turn on that bell notification as well as subscribing, and that's the best way you don't miss any content. Because you don't know my thing, man's a family man. Man's ain't no YouTuber full time. So the timing and everything there's no rhyme or reason to it. And I'm sorry for that, people. But hey, it's just how my life set up right now. It's straight for go. But people, big up. Thanks for tuning in. Respect to each and every one of you that tuned in the entire show. Some of you, but I'm really rating on a legendary for sit down and listen to me talk for 2 hours. I know I don't talk foolishness, so it's not that hard. But still, I mean, people don't really hold their attention for this long of a time. So we greatly appreciate it, people. Anybody that tune in for the entire show, it really helps when people see the watch time and they see that you're keeping your viewers here, and that's very, very helpful. So you guys that do that, I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate you from seriously, and just know that we'll be back with more content, and hopefully I won't have to be so dreading talking about my team the next time you see me. But who knows? We'll find out Wednesday how that goes. Then, of course, leading into the weekend, we'll be back for obviously another episode of the EPL preview show, where we'll break down everything that's going on coming up in the next week. So, people, thanks again for tuning in. That preview show will be coming next Friday. And of course, you know that Jamaica Reggae Girls play again on Saturday. So we'll have some content for you leading into that, as well as the live watch along for that. So that is what to look forward to. Conrad, I see you in the comment section, bro. I see you in the comment section saying all kind of shit. But just know that when is it? Tomorrow? You see tomorrow, bro? Are you going to overturn the second leg? Let me know. Let me know. You guys look like you're going to win the damn La Liga, and kudos to you. But are you going to turn around this game with Atletico? Are you going to let Atletico knock you out of 2 cups this year? The Copa del Rey and the Champions League, bro? Come on, bro. Don't talk about Arsenal right now. Win your second leg. Win your second leg, Conrad. Yeah, you're laughing because you know it's true, bro. You know it's true. You thought I would have forgot about that. Yeah. Yeah. So Battle FC is back. But Barca is the boy. Barca look like them are gonna win. And they don't. That's your MO in the Champions League of late, Yeah, bro. Every year, Barca look like them are gonna win. What a team can attack. And somebody knock out on the Ross every time. So will it happen tomorrow? That's what we need to find out. So we'll be here for it, I'll be back Wednesday, So it will be prior to my game playing. So you can let me know in the comment section. You see what Barca do? One Barca, look what they overturn. All right. Now, if they don't, when you turn up Wednesday, just humble thyself and watch the game like me. All right. Big up yourself. Yeah, man, I'm going to win the league. Yeah, that's what I said. Good. Well done. You win the league. I don't know if they is us, but I'm not saying that. No, you're not going to hear me say that. Do I want Arsenal to win the league? Of course. Will they win the league? Me can't tell you that. No, sir. Nothing in the history, nothing in the present tells me that they're going to win this damn league. Nothing. So I'm not going to say that. But anyway, people, big up on yourselves. I'm Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. And don't know. We'll be back, people. I'm not going to run because we can't run. I'm aside. What am I going to do? I'm aside. I can't run. Eras. I can't run. I can't run Eras. T text me, man. And I asked me how I stay. I'm say, brother, not so good. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. T want know where the top Gooners them are say now. I said, brother, then can't say nothing. I have to just hold it, you know. I have to just hold it. But anyway, me want them turn it around. So as much as me hate Arteta and cuss him, but I just want him prove me wrong and show me that he can actually fucking do it. You see me? But until then, me can't trust him. I can't trust him, people. But anyway, I'm Jason Gooner. This is Jason Gooner TV. I never trust them. They have to go show me.